Welcome to Beyond the Noise. Here's Olivet Nazarene University's chaplain, Mark Holcomb.
This has been a different week, hasn't it? I can't stop thinking about what happened in Florida last Wednesday. Of course, if you have alerts on your phone or you watch TV, it's difficult to not think about it. But I've also found myself reflecting on the ways that they're covering this story, and I don't like it. It's too often about sensationalism and not journalism, because I don't think there's anything good that comes from sticking a microphone in the face of a 14-year-old who just watched a friend or teacher die, or a parent who's grieving the death of a daughter. That's just sensationalism to me. Now, I do believe this is a story that needs to be told, but I also believe there's a way to tell it. First, God didn't do this. A disturbed 19-year-old did. Now, my heart breaks for him almost as much as for the families of the innocent that he murdered. I say almost because, honestly, I'm just being human. But because we're shaped by the way Jesus lived, we don't believe evil has the last word. So that's the other thing I want to talk about. That God has been and is at work to redeem all things, all the time, everywhere. I think it's one of his favorite things to do. Now, I'm not sure what that means right now. I'm not sure what this will look like on the other side, but I find myself watching for what God has up his sleeves, because trust me, he is up to something. So in my search for a word or phrase to express all that's gone on this week, Ash Wednesday and our entering the story of Christ's passion and the way he responded to violence, the murder of 17 innocent people in Florida, and the ways we are responding to violence. And then this Thursday in chapel, we had the story of a grieving father who lost his daughter to a car accident 3 years ago, but shared also the way God was redeeming her story. This amazing ministry that's blossomed. The answer to this search for me came through a brief conversation at breakfast Friday morning. So I need to thank Jess for not just hearing, but reflecting on these stories and what they were saying to her, because she honestly helped complete my search. This is how she described it. Now, she was talking about Jonathan and Quincy, the father and the daughter, when she said this, saying his story was so hard but so beautiful. But Jess wasn't just talking about a dad and a daughter. She was talking about Jesus, this one whose life was hard, some might even say tragic, yet beautiful. We don't often describe it that way, but maybe we should. Don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything good about what happened in Parkland, and I don't believe God killed Quincy or any of those kids. But both of these events can, when placed in the hands of a loving God, become beautiful because of how Jesus lived. He came all the way to where we are so he could know us, all of us, the good and the not so good. And because Jesus knows, he whispers in the ear of the Father the pain, the grief, the sorrow those in Parkland, Florida are feeling today. And he also whispers in his and our Father's ear exactly what we're going through, the good and the not so good, right now. And then the Father responds by sending the Spirit to tend to them and us, giving us what we need for this day, exactly what we need. God the Father knows because Jesus the Son experienced it, all of it. Pain, laughter, abandonment, friendship, rejection, acceptance, grief, joy, abuse, rest, betrayal, death, and life. And if I missed yours, fill it in, because Jesus lived it all. And because he did, whatever we face, whatever we feel, Jesus did too. Anything life throws at us, the good and the not so good, is laced with hope, because that's who Jesus is. Man, I wish a 19-year-old knew that before this past Wednesday. And I hope those who are reeling from the pain inflicted on them by his actions experience it too. I hope that this word is spoken into their lives, into a difficult place and situation, making something terrible beautiful, redeeming the unimaginable, just like the murder of our Savior was redeemed. So today, for us and them, as we intercede, know this, that Jesus sits at the right hand of His and our Father interceding for us, whispering in His Father's ear what we are experiencing. And the Father who loves us sends the Spirit to give us exactly what we need for this moment, this day, whatever it might be. Now that is a beautiful thing.
This has been Beyond the Noise with Chaplain Mark Holcomb. Watch Olivet Chapel services live or on demand at olivet.edu. Beyond the Noise is a production of Shine.fm.